Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today I want to talk to you about whether or not we need to be concerned that new players and bots might begin relying on free reward cards, Soulbounds, to just become self-sufficient, thereby moving toward an extraction model where they give nothing at all because the Soulbounds with the new Gladiator reward summoners that are available mean that they no longer need anything from us. I am not concerned about this. I understand our community is. I want to engage with a question from Smokelord in this video with Jim Morgan, but also I want to touch on some thoughts expressed recently by Tails, who I love, but disagree with on this issue. So this will be maybe a bit of a hot take around the fact that we don't need to be concerned about Soulbound reward cards breaking the reward structure or ruining Splinterlands. I really think we're going to be just fine, and we would be better served to focus on how we can gain and benefit from Splinterlands than spending time complaining about how others are doing so. Let's get into it. Thanks guys for your time and attention. Have an amazing day. God bless. So Smokelord had a bit of a interesting, maybe a controversial take, or that, at least something worth talking about. It's worrisome that bots could end up building almost full decks with Soulbound cards and go 95% extraction mode with limited renting. This is the, I guess, the fear that I've heard more than one person raise.
I personally don't see these cards being ridiculously good just to be using on their own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're going to be really hamstrung if that's your approach.
Yeah. But it's like, sure, they'll be able to get some rewards, but it's like, if you're playing, I don't know, because these cards are just like overly statted. I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think I mean, I agree with you. I mean, if those are the only cards you had access to, I don't see you winning very often. But then also, and even the summoners, like, I mean, this, like, let's just quick look at them. Reward
6 mana for use gladiator cards. So if they're also not a part of a guild and have been getting merits an okay amount, those gladiator cards aren't really going to matter either.
Mm-hmm.
Or the summoners with that ability.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you can't look at them here. I was like, why aren't they showing up? Yeah, they have a role, they have a use, and the suggestion that they are going to, I guess, eliminate the need for access to other cards is on some sense, you know, I guess it's possible. Like you're right, you could play in that context, but one, I think it's been overhyped that the reward cards are going to fill up really, really quickly. That's one thing that I've seen from more than one, you know, commenter in this space. It's like, oh, we're going to have max level decks, you know, in a short period of time. And I can't remember who covered this. It might have, I saw one of the guys on YouTube cover it, and they said, you know, look, it's like you get like any sort of drop rate on any sort of, you know, where there's RNG involved, you can see sometimes you get out to an early start. Maybe you get, you know, certain cards that are you get several copies of it in the early going. Like, I don't know, maybe you have like a level 4 Pembroke Nymph, for instance. I guess it's possible. I mean, some people probably do. That'd be 25 copies. But then it's a dramatic increase in the number of BCX that are even required to get one more level. And so I think that's maybe part of the answer. It's like, I think part of the concern that Smokelord and others are raising is like out of a fact that people have already seen higher levels of certain cards, but do they have a full deck? No, they've gotten lucky with certain cards. And then the second part is, even if they have, like, let's say a level 4 or even a level 5 already for certain cards like this, to then go into the levels at the highest level is going to be such a different. You need to not only get lucky for the first 2 weeks, but for probably the first, you know, 6 months, like constantly, and because of all the cards, there's 43 of these, I think, and to get this one. And not gold foil, but regular, because that's the one you're collecting. Or yes, gold foil, because that's the one you're collecting. I feel as though it's less likely that we're going to see those decks top out in a full sense. And then I guess I also just want to reiterate what I said earlier, which is like, if the conversation is around, well, bots are going to bots are going to have this free run. Well, I mean, you're really saying bots are a problem, and I mean, we've been saying that for years, and like our community, I mean, and I just don't know, like, what do we do about that? Like, why? It feels like I'm hitting my head against the wall when we look at, well, look, it's causing this problem, and it's causing this problem, and it's causing this problem. Okay, but what could we do about them? You know, that's the question. Like, there's no point in being upset about, well, they might put together a full deck and they might, you know, extract, you know, significant rewards without providing any sort of rental cost to the market or any of that. Yeah, they might. But what are we proposing? Like, how are we going to solve meaningfully the bot conversation? Because there's no point in kind of arguing about how the Soulbounds could go haywire with in their possession if we come back to it and we realize we just can't do anything about it. And then also that we are doing what little we can. Like, you look at the team revising how rewards are handled over the last year or two. That's been an effort around bots. Or you look at what, I guess, you know, the third party technology development has kind of done in this conversation too. Like what Nifty Arcade has publicly said, like we're striving to exclude bots from this service. And so there are efforts being made to deal with that problem. And it's like, even if I'm not convinced you're entirely right that we need to be worried about them going into quote unquote 95% extraction mode. But also, even if you are 100% right, the question becomes like, well, again, how do we resolve it? And we're doing what we can. And I feel like there's no point in talking about it beyond that is kind of how I feel.
Mm-hmm. So I saw in the chat, someone talked about how Tails and Aftersounds made a video beating a kitty with all Soulbound cards.
Mm-hmm.
I found the video.
Did you? Is it good?
No, it's not good.
Tell me.
Okay. All right. Okay. I guess I can send it to you.
Yeah, send the battle.
Right,
yeah, man. I mean, can something beat something else? Can Pyre beat Kitty? Of course it can. Like, are you legitimately concerned that Pyre is gonna suddenly replace Kitty? No.
Yeah, not at all.
So hang on a second. Where are they? Tails is on. I guess this is
Tails
him.
is on, the bottom.
Okay, so he's got the Gladiator Summoner. He's got which means he's brought out Katralba with the Double Strike and Bloodlust.
Who's so effing good. Like, okay, the fact that they had to bring this card into it.
And the Martyr, right?
Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Double Martyr.
Yeah.
And spoilers, one of them doesn't activate.
And this is a bronze level battle. Like, you know, this is level 1 Kitty versus like a level 2. Yeah, it's easy enough to get like a level, like I said, a lower level Gladiator Summoner. I mean, are we talking about this being a problem at the highest levels? Because that's what I've heard. I did hear Tails say like this could be a problem. We could put together full decks relatively quickly. But then what we're looking at is like a total low level deck. So is the problem at the lowest level or is it at the highest level? Because I'm hearing mixed messages. I don't see how it could possibly be a problem at Diamond Champion. And we know that collection powers have been, I guess collection powers may be going away, but we also know that currently you can play at those higher levels for relatively inexpensively. So part of the conversation is always coming back to, like, if you're seeing problems like this or brokenness at bronze, get out of bronze. But let's watch the video here.
And real quick, Dwayne, do you remember, because I've been saying this for a while, do you remember how I've said you counter Kitty?
No.
You burst her down. So that way the healing can't really take effect.
Yeah.
But also, if you're able to just instantly kill off the back line, like he's about to do, because double strike, sneak, and you can see he's going to kill that 4 HP guy in the first round to then just get higher and then go to 3 damage. or my bad, to 4, because he got the martyr effect as well.
Yep.
So it's just like the healing doesn't matter. Now the speed control doesn't matter because you're pushing your speed even further. It's just like, guys, Kitty isn't unstoppable. Like, what? Okay. Yeah. I just can't. I hate seeing them talk about just how brokenly OP Kitty is. I'm like, guys, she is beatable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a strong card. And that actually, after this, it makes me want to transition into, I mean, look at the Bloodlust kid going. I mean,
yeah,
this could provoke a conversation around how gladiators and bloodlust in the game are really powerful, which is a different conversation than like then soulbound reward cards are going to help bots. It could also talk about how, you know, Kitty is beatable and in some contexts overrated, because we talk about Kitty like it's absolutely the only, like heads and shoulders above all other summoners, and contextually that's not true. Like, I mean, there's so many different scenarios where it's not going to be optimal, whether it's reverse speed or whether it's healing's been canceled, or whether dragon's not available. Like, there just are so many, or whether it's a low mana match even, like sometimes. So there's just so many contexts where this card, of course it's good. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not trying to make an argument that it's not amazing. I think it probably is the best summoner. But is it, you know, 5 times better than, you know, Jotun, or 5? You know, no, it's not. It's substantively better, and that's important. But when we talk about a game like Splinterlands, you have to always remember that it's not about the most overpowered summoner or the most overpowered splinter. It's about having a diversity of options so that you can counter and you can, you know, confuse your opponent. And I think those are really important. And that's partly why a card like this is very helpful. But I mean, I think the more interesting conversation is not around like how it's a problem for our economy, because the tone here is like there's a problem for our economy because these cards are free. No, I mean, we always had reward cards that were free. And well, we didn't have summoners before, Dwayne. Okay, fine, but like, you're not gonna have long-lasting and substantive success if you're able to play one look. You need multiple. Like, I have a 5 million power and like 24 summoners, and you know I still probably win 50% of my matches. If you want to propose to me that you're gonna come at people with just gladiator summoners and you're going to put that together quickly also and play at a higher level and still have success while only really presenting one look, I doubt it. I sincerely doubt it. Plus, it's even lucky that like he has both those martyrs, by the way. Like he had, and again, it's like, can he get it quickly? Yes, you can get it quickly. But it's just not everyone that's going to have access to all of these things rapidly. But I can tell that this is like a tense conversation for our community because they really believe that it's just going to be free for bots to extract value. And first of all, it's not free because they're putting in like I don't know, man. It's this is it just feels like it's complaining. And I'm just not a complainer. Like, I'm like, my view when it boils down to it is we have to just, why are we caring what other people are doing? Why aren't we focusing on like the opportunity in front of me or in front of you? Because it's like, that's where, because it just feels like, oh, John Doe is doing better than me and I'm grumpy about that. And I'm like, who cares what John Doe is doing? Can you make life-changing opportunity for yourself through a blockchain-based video game? I really think you can. But it's like, you're not going to do that by being fixated on what John or Jim or James is doing. It's like, what can you do? That to me is the healthiest and most proactive and productive thought process to kind of come at this for and through. And that necessitates like almost a disregard or not a disregard, because that's actually, I don't mean closing my eyes to this conversation. I mean like recognizing what is is maybe a problem, and talking about it for sure, but then moving on and being like, okay, until we figure out exactly how we're going to deal with bots, the issue is whatever. Like, it's just a moot. It's just, we might as well just complain that the sky is blue. It just is what it is.